Man, I didn't even plan on going live uh tonight, but I got a few minutes, not too many minutes, but just a few. Kind of just wanted to come on here and and talk a little bit about the bad guy, one Mr. Razor Ramon. A couple of different sources are reporting that yes, he has now passed away at the age of 63 years old, man. Um, One, Mr. Scott Hall, better known as the bad guy. Oye, chico, I'm going to carve you up. Oh, man. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time, but hey, what's up, Esa Benny? Little Art, what's going on, homie? Jose, RP, Razor Ramon. Yeah, man. So typing in from work to show some love. Gracias, Little Art. I appreciate that, man. What's up? Let me see. RP, Scott Hall. What's up, Luis? How you doing, girl? What's up, CT, RP, Razor Ramon? Yeah, man. You know what? I gotta tell you guys this, man. I didn't even know his name was Scott Hall, right? Until afterwards, once he left the Razor Ramon name, and you just start going at Scott Hall, right? But before that, well, I actually really thought the vato was straight out, Latino, homie. I mean, this dude was just this guy was the Scarface, Holmes, of wrestling, dog. I remember even his vignettes, right? His phone before he even started wrestling for WWE, back then known as WWF. But before he even started wrestling, they would have his vignettes, right? And he'd be kicking it. Just thought he was he just thought he was Mr. Badass, Holmes, right? With the toothpick and hey, yo, my name is Razor Ramon, right? And he just start pushing people around, just like regular people, right? He'd be at a restaurant, and it's like, oh, we need to clean the table for the next people. Oh, those people, yeah, I'll clean the table. Bang, he just throw everything off the table. I'll clean the table for you, man. I'll clean the table for you. It was badass, dog. It was badass, man. I was like, man, what's up with this guy, dog? Where did this guy come from, man? This is really the Tony Montana coming in. Now he wrestled before then, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who he was before that. Okay, I did not know. I know now I do know some of his history. Okay, now I do. All right, he had the mustache and more weird looking and stuff like that. So now I do know his history. But at that time, that moment, I had never heard of him. And then I start seeing his vignettes, rolling in the badass cars with the fine hyenas next to him and everything. Oye Chico with a toothpick in his mouth, man. I thought it was awesome, dog. It was something like I had never seen before. Before that, the only thing that I can say that kind of came close, as long as it would just keep in with the Latino flavor to it. I was just thinking El Matador, Tito Santana, right? The whole arriba. Let me see. Loved how he flicked this toothpick. Yeah, man. That Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. That was an iconic match. To this day, it's still up there in ladder matches. Think about all the great ladder matches. Hey, what's up, G Funky? Man, for all you boxing nuts, go check out my boy G Funky Boxing right there, man. And he did a video earlier today as well for the bad guy, one Mr. Scott Hall, who has now passed away at the age of 63 years old. And I'm gonna tell you, hey, what's up, Denise? How you doing, girlfriend? I remember Razor lost 1, 2, 3 Kid. I mean, that's what made 1, 2, 3 Kid, right? That's what made him, because 1, 2, 3 Kid was supposed to be nothing but a jobber. And he pinned Razor Ramon, and he was embarrassed. RP to Scott Hall. Let me see. What's up, Artie Familia? How you doing, big dog? Let me see. He had a cowboy character in 8. Yeah. Yeah, G Funky. I know that now, but at first I did not know that. I did not. Now it's so easy to go back and there's so much more video and footage that you can go back and check out who these guys were, as opposed to back when he first came into the WWE. Well, back then WWF, right? I was like, I've never seen this guy before, but his vignettes, man, before he even stepped into a WWF ring, I just loved it. I was like, man, this fool's just slapping dudes around. Hey, Chico, come here. Just like, I loved it, dog. You just smack a dude around and take his hyena. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, dog. This vato is badass, dog. I love this, man. This is the straight out wrestling Tony Montana right here, dog. Just smack a dude and grab his hyena. And, oh, she's with me now, you know, with his toothpick and his hair and all, man. A lot of great memories with him. You know, his career, dog, started, I think, a little bit later in life, man. It wasn't like people really started knowing who he was when he was, 25 or anything like that, right? And the business was much, much more different back then than it is today. Let me see. Good, Cholo. All right. Glad you're doing good, girlfriend. Let me see. Saludos, Mr. Denise. Esa Benny, get at me, dog. We got to talk some wrestling, homie. G Funky, as a matter of fact, I got to get G Funky, homie. I got to get him on the panel so we could talk some wrestling, dog. WrestleMania's coming up. We definitely, G Funky, I'll be getting at you, Holmes. If you're interested, we're getting this panel going. We got to talk a little bit of WrestleMania, dog. The showcase of the Immortals coming up. But you know what? A lot of things that go down with one Mr. Razor Ramon, right? Everybody thought he was this Latino dude, and I thought he played it off great. I'm glad he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, rightfully so. The guy struggled a lot in life, a lot. There's certain documentaries, I can't even remember which one I watched. I know he was in the one with Jake the Snake, but he spoke about where he killed a man at a bar. I can't even really remember the story. I'm not sure if he was a bouncer there or I don't even really want to speculate, man. Maybe some of you guys know the story a little bit better than I do. I might have to brush up on that. I just realized I had a few minutes, so I'm gonna go live and just talk about one Mr. Razor Ramon, the bad guy. You know what? Let me say this about him. He actually made it cool to be the bad guy, to be the heel, right? Before that, I don't really recall anybody cheering for the heel. It was a different time in wrestling. You cheered the face and you boo the heel. You really hated the heel. There were a couple of heels that people will kind of gravitate to, but you never heard people really cheering for the heel. People always cheered for the face. Like I said, it was a different time in wrestling, man. But when he came in, he changed the game, dog. When it came to that, he made it cool. He made it cool to be the heel. He made it cool to be the bad guy. I know people like to look at Stone Cold, and yeah, Stone Cold was that, but Razor Ramon was well before that, man. Making it cool to be the bad guy, making it cool to be the heel. He didn't turn face. The fan base, the fans were cheering for him, even though he was supposed to be the heel. But the people were loving it, man. They're loving him coming out in his vest and his jewelry with his damn chest hair. They're just loving it, dog. A lot of his moves, just like G Funky right here was saying earlier on his channel, a lot of his moves, dog, you did not see before. Some of those were some pretty, crazy sick moves, dog. I'm not talking about agility. I'm talking about when he get you. Today you see it a lot, so it's not that big today. But he'd get you, put you on top of the turnbuckle, get on the middle turnbuckle, and just fall back. Bam! You didn't see that before, dog. That was a killer move. You know, picking you up like you did do a regular body slam, but he had you, and then he just throws you over his head as he falls back. That was new. I never seen that before until him. Now I see, you know, quite a few wrestlers do it. But at that time, I thought it was a little bit ground shaking, man, because I had never seen that before. And when you want to talk about finishers, that Razor's Edge, homie, he had you up there. He had you up there like if you were being crucified. He had you, bam, just like this, dog. And here we go. You're just going down, boom, right onto the back of your neck, dog. That was crazy. It probably is not that crazy to see today. I get it. But if you're talking about that time, you weren't seeing those moves, man. Those were moves that you had never seen before. At least not on the major stage. Maybe you could go to you know, some of these small timers and probably see those moves. Maybe, I don't know, man. Some of these little small territorials that were around back then and possibly see those moves. But on the big stage, you weren't seeing that stuff, dog. And he brought that. And he brought a different just element to wrestling, dog. Like I said, he made it cool to be the bad guy. And ever since then, it became cool to be the bad guy, depending on who you were as a bad guy, right? I mean, HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, he was a bad guy. He became pretty cool, man. The whole DX thing, you know, you take it into WCW with, you take it into WCW with the NWO. They're heels. They're bad guys, but because of what his work was as Razor Ramon, making it cool to be the bad guy, NWO exploded. You know, they were bad guys. They were heels. But he made it cool. He made it cool to be the bad guy. What's up, Andres? Chico RP, yeah, to the machismo. Man, I just all that, dog. All the machismo, the toothpick, I'm going to carve you up and all that, man. It was all great. RP, reasonable moments. We found out. Yeah, Nate. Yeah, you know what? I got a lot of good memories. He was involved in some really good matches. Obviously, the one that stands out is the ladder match with Shawn Michaels. Obviously, when he went to WCW, the whole NWO, the NWO was crazy. G Funky was saying it earlier that the NWO became like this somewhat wrestling gangster kind of group, right? And the best way I can somewhat describe it is the NWO became somewhat along the lines of what a version of like what NWA was to music. NWO was that to wrestling. That's the best way I can kind of connect it. What NWA was music, okay, at that time, this no filter, straight, you know, gang banging music. This we're all up in your face. There's no rules. There's none of that. We are just uncut and just raw and giving it to you. That's how NWA was. NWO was somewhat of that version to wrestling. They were like the NWA of wrestling, man, and they changed the game. They were the reason why WCW surpassed WWF. At the same time, yeah. Let me see. RP, long live Razor. That's right, man. NWO Wolfpack. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say this, man. I don't want to get too off track, but the NWO put WCW up there. Hey, hey, you can call it what you want, dog. But yeah, somewhat, yeah, man. I mean, with Hogan switching and everything, yeah, man. Yeah, that was also the with Eddie Guerrero and the Latino World Order and everything. But I will say, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, I will say that NWO is the reason why WCW blew up and got up there. But I will also say this: NWO is also the reason why WCW ended up declining. Okay. I'm sorry, NWO just started getting way too big, way too many heads. And I've said this before. Even Virgil was in the NWO. Okay, Virgil. Yeah, Virgil. The butler, Ted DiBiase's butler. Yeah, he was in the NWO. At some point, everybody became NWO, and it was just a joke. It was a clown. I didn't like it anymore. I was so, and then the Wolf Pack, and then it was like, okay, now it's them versus them. And then, the whole thing with Hogan. I'm not going to get all into it, but at some point, it just became way too cheesy. And I was just like, that's it. I'm out. And I thought that was where they lost. They lost. It wasn't even WCW anymore. It was NWO, and it became way too big, and it just lost all its luster. But I will say this, man. I don't got too much more time. Let me see. I knew he lived. Uh, Crazy life was probably headed to an early grave because of his lifestyle. Last I heard, he made a turnaround. Yeah, he did. And that's what I was gonna say. I'm glad. I'm glad that he got sober. Um, I'm glad that he got clean, and I'm glad that he found peace, man. Um, you guys could see him in the documentary of Jake the Snake Roberts. He was in a wheelchair, and he wasn't in a wheelchair because he had a messed up spine or anything. He was in a wheelchair, homie, because he was abusing drugs and alcohol way too much. It's look. I don't mean this with malice, homie, but I'm surprised he made it to 63, just being honest. As a matter of fact, if we're gonna be real, a lot of wrestlers from that time, from that era, don't make it to 63 years old. They don't. A lot of them abuse their bodies big time. So I'm glad he made it to 63. I was hoping he'd make it longer, but I'm glad that he was able to walk on his own 2 feet, not being in a wheelchair, walk on his own 2 feet as he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. Long live the bad guy, one Mr. Scott Hall, or as I always like to call him, Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Hey guys, I gotta get out of here, man. I got an early day tomorrow. Gotta wake up super early, but I just really want to come on here and say, you know what? May God bless him, dog. He put in a lot of work. I'm glad, as far as I know, he overcame his demons. Okay, he had a lot of demons. Somebody was saying on here, I forgot who it was. Maybe it was G Funky, that he was a butler, and I'm sorry, a butler, a bouncer. He ended up killing a man, and I know that haunted him. There's a documentary that haunted him for a while, which drove him to more drugs, more alcohol. And I'm glad he got clean. I'm glad he got into the Hall of Fame, and we were able to see that. So, hey, man, shout outs to Razor Ramon Scott Hall, the bad guy. I'll always be a fan of his. Chico. Catch you guys later.